It began with a simple, everyday act, one that millions of people do without a second thought. Mollie Tibbetts, a college student home for the summer, was preparing for her evening jog. The sun was setting, casting a warm glow through the windows as she laced up her shoes, ready to unwind after a long day. Before heading out, Mollie picked up her phone and sent a Snapchat to her boyfriend, a quick casual message, just a small moment of connection in their daily routine. This routine message sent on July 18, 2018 would become far more significant than anyone could have imagined. It was the last known proof of her life, a digital timestamp that would later anchor an entire investigation. The photo she sent showed no sign of distress, just Mollie, appearing relaxed and content, as if she'd finished her jog and was safely back inside. There was nothing unusual, nothing to suggest that anything was wrong, but that very normalcy is what made her sudden silence so chilling. The ordinary became ominous. When Mollie didn't respond to later messages, concern quickly grew among her friends and family. The Snapchat, designed to vanish after being viewed, instead became a crucial piece of evidence. Investigators realized that this fleeting message was now a cornerstone of their search for answers. It showed that Mollie had likely completed her run and felt secure enough to send a casual message, suggesting she was back in the safety of her home. Investigators now had a critical timestamp and a probable location inside the house. This information was vital, narrowing down the window of time and place where something could have gone wrong. The focus of the search shifted from the running path to the house and its immediate surroundings. Every detail, every shadow was scrutinized for clues. Every subsequent clue, every piece of information was measured against this final digital anchor. The investigation became a race against time, with the Snapchat as its starting line. Investigators pored over her phone records, social media activity and fitness tracker data, all in relation to that last, seemingly innocent Snapchat. Each digital footprint was a potential lead. In a sea of uncertainty, this single digital trace became the starting point for unraveling the mystery of Mollie Tibbetts' disappearance. A fleeting moment now frozen in time that would guide the search for the truth. Before the final Snapchat, Mollie's Instagram offered a vivid, intimate glimpse into her world, a digital diary of her daily life, her passions, and the people she loved most. Her profile was a vibrant mosaic, capturing the energy of a happy 20-year-old student. There were snapshots of laughter with friends at campus events, warm embraces with family, and candid moments with her boyfriend that radiated genuine affection. While her posts didn't contain any direct clues about her disappearance, they gave investigators a window into her personality, her routines, and her relationships, valuable context that would shape the early days of the investigation. Her posts revealed a young woman deeply rooted in her community, dedicated to her studies, and fiercely loyal to her loved ones. She was a daughter who cherished her family, a girlfriend who celebrated milestones, and a friend who never missed a birthday or a big game. This digital portrait helped investigators quickly rule out theories that she might have run away or intentionally cut ties. There was no evidence of secret plans or hidden distress, just a life in motion, full of promise. As news of her disappearance spread, the public rallied around her social media presence. Friends, family, and even strangers began sharing her photos, hoping that someone, somewhere, might recognize her or remember seeing her. Her Instagram quickly transformed into a virtual gathering place, a digital town square where a community in suspense came together to share memories, offer support, and search for answers. The images that once chronicled private moments now put a face to the name for millions. Her story, amplified by social media, became national news, sparking conversations about safety, vulnerability, and the power of online communities. Investigators meticulously scrolled through her posts, her followers, and her comments, searching for anything out of place, any hint of a new acquaintance, a cryptic message, or a change in her usual patterns. No single post pointed directly to a suspect, but her digital presence painted a clear, detailed picture of her life, her habits, and her circle of trust. In this case, understanding Mollie's online world became a modern form of detective work. Just as crucial as analyzing physical evidence or interviewing witnesses, her Instagram became the before in a tragic before and after story, a digital time capsule of innocence and hope forever frozen in time. It humanized the search, reminding everyone that behind the headlines was a real person, and it kept hope alive for those who refused to give up. On July 18, 2018, Mollie Tibbetts was following a routine that felt safe and familiar. She was dog-sitting at her boyfriend's house in the quiet town of Brooklyn, Iowa. The summer evening was warm, the kind that invites you outside, and Mollie was known for her love of running. She had spent the day texting friends, caring for the dog, and planning her evening jog, a habit she rarely missed. As dusk settled, she laced up her running shoes and set out for her usual run, weaving through the familiar streets and rural roads. She was last seen around 7:30 p.m., wearing her athletic gear, her ponytail bouncing as she passed neighbors and waved to acquaintances. The sun was just beginning to dip below the horizon, casting long shadows across the quiet town. Several witnesses later confirmed seeing her along her route, helping authorities piece together a public timeline of her movements that evening. Their recollections would become crucial in the days to come, as every detail mattered. Evidence suggested that after her run, Mollie returned to the house. This marked a shift in the investigation, from physical sightings to the digital clues she left behind. The transition from the outside world to the quiet of the home was subtle, but significant. Later that evening, Mollie sent a Snapchat to her boyfriend, a photo that showed her inside, relaxed and seemingly at ease. The timestamp on the message would later help investigators narrow down the critical window of time. This digital evidence shifted the focus of the search to the house itself, as investigators tried to determine exactly when and how she vanished. Her boyfriend, Dalton Jack, was working out of town that night. He saw Mollie's Snapchat around 10 p.m. and at the time, nothing seemed out of the ordinary. Their conversation was routine, filled with the small talk of a couple separated by distance. It wasn't until the next morning, when Mollie failed to show up for her job at a local daycare, that concern began to grow. Her absence was immediately noticed by coworkers who described her as reliable and punctual. When her family and employer couldn't reach her, worry turned to alarm. Calls went unanswered, and by midday, a missing person report was filed with local police, setting off a search that would soon grip the entire community. The ordinariness of Mollie's last known movements, the run, the messages, the quiet evening at home, made her sudden disappearance all the more chilling. There were no obvious signs of trouble, no indication that anything was wrong. With no evidence of a struggle or any plans to leave, investigators were left to follow the faint digital trail she left behind. Her phone's data, her social media activity, and the last messages she sent. That seemingly ordinary summer evening would become the most scrutinized timeline in recent Iowa history, as the search for Mollie Tibbetts began in earnest, and a community was left searching for answers. With few physical leads, investigators turned to Mollie's digital life. They obtained search warrants for her social media, email, and phone records. The goal: reconstruct her final hours, minute by minute. Data analysts built a social graph, scrutinizing friends, messages, and interactions for anything unusual. Her cell phone data, especially location pings, became crucial. Did her phone move after her run? When did it last connect to the network? Each digital clue was cross-referenced: Snapchat, phone, and later, Fitbit data. This multi-layered approach allowed investigators to build a solid, evidence-based timeline. The puzzle was complex, but each platform provided a vital piece. Only by combining them could investigators see the full picture of Mollie's final hours. Mollie's Fitbit became a key source of evidence. As an avid runner, she wore it to track her pace and heart rate. Investigators accessed her Fitbit data, mapping her final run with precision. The device confirmed her route, start and stop times, and her return home. By syncing Fitbit data with her phone and Snapchat, investigators built a detailed narrative. The most critical clue: any anomaly in her heart rate or movement after returning home. A sudden spike or abrupt stop could indicate when tragedy struck. The Fitbit's digital flatline marked the end of her routine, and the beginning of the mystery. The volume of digital information was staggering. Investigators faced a flood of data: Mollie's accounts, cell tower records, surveillance footage, and thousands of public tips. Every lead had to be vetted and cross-referenced, creating a massive bottleneck. Analyzing cell tower data meant sifting through thousands of phones active that night. Surveillance footage from local businesses and homes was painstakingly reviewed. Over 4,000 tips poured in, many through digital channels. The process was slow, not from lack of effort but from the sheer complexity. The case highlighted a new reality. Digital evidence is powerful, but managing it is a monumental challenge. The days of relying solely on fingerprints and eyewitnesses are over. The Mollie Tibbetts case became a textbook example of modern digital investigation. Mollie Tibbetts' disappearance quickly became national news. She was relatable, a bright college student from a loving family in small-town Iowa. Her story resonated with parents and young people across the country. Social media sharing of her photos created a personal connection and fueled public interest. The mystery, no suspects, no motive, sparked endless speculation online and on TV. Amateur detectives and national media kept the case in the spotlight. The search efforts inspired unity, with hundreds volunteering to help. The community's determination became a powerful counter-narrative to the crime. Media coverage kept pressure on law enforcement and encouraged public vigilance. Mollie's case became a fixture in the summer news cycle, impossible to ignore. It was a story that united and unsettled a nation. Mollie Tibbetts' tragedy was quickly politicized. When her killer was identified as an undocumented immigrant, the case became a flashpoint in the immigration debate. Politicians and commentators used her story to argue for stricter border security. Foreign entities amplified the narrative online, fueling division and distraction. Mollie's family pleaded for her memory not to be used as a political tool. Her father reminded the public that Mollie believed in welcoming people from all backgrounds. Despite their wishes, the exploitation continued, overshadowing her story. The focus shifted from a lost young woman to a symbol in a culture war she never chose. Mollie Tibbetts' case left a lasting mark on the nation and law enforcement. Her digital echoes, Snapchat, Instagram, Fitbit, became her final voice, guiding investigators to justice. The case showed how technology reshapes the search for truth, but also the challenges of digital investigations. It's a blueprint for future cases. Law enforcement must master both digital and physical worlds. Beyond the technical lessons, Mollie's story is a reminder of life's fragility and the randomness of tragedy. Her legacy is not just the clues she left, but the way her story brought people together. As headlines fade, it's the loss of Mollie, the person, that remains the central tragedy. Her memory calls us to seek justice, reject exploitation, and remember the human behind the headlines. For more stories and investigations, subscribe to our channel.